We've got a very special guest, Mr. Michael Howell. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing pretty well. It's
Love it.
certainly hot here in Europe, so we're baking,
Ah,
steaming like the markets.
that's right. I feel I'm in your parallel universe here because I have no AC right now, and it's like 90 degrees in Chicago. So I'm right there with you.
Okay, we don't get AC over here.
That's right.
We don't.
That's right. So what do you think about these markets today? Do you have any insights, or how are you leaning with the banks? What do you think about the Asian market open overnight?
Well, a lot to dive into. Look, we're late in the cycle. Let's think this bull market began late 22, so it's aging. I mean, it's a mature bull market. We've got to look for signs of cycle ending, and I think they're kind of writ large all over the place. The bond markets are not behaving very well. You're looking at spikes in speculative stocks. You're looking at commodity markets on a roll. I mean, all these things are basically telling us is late cycle. Yield curves are trying to flatten. I mean, these are all symptoms of a late cycle market. So I think one's got to tread carefully. I mean, there's no question. I mean, this is a phase that we not surprisingly call speculation. You can make money in speculation, but those returns tend to be, low quality. There's a lot of volatility, a lot of bullets flying. You've got to keep your head low, or you've got to be very certain about what you're doing. But you've got to look at the late cycle areas. And I think, let's just take a look at the commodity markets, look at the base metals, look at things like softs. I mean, they're beginning to break out themselves, but they're certainly breaking out relative to precious metals, which is normally a pretty key sign. And that's telling us that the economy is strong. Bond markets are confirming that. And, fact is, all money that's anywhere must be somewhere. So if it's in the real economy, it's not in financial markets. So that's the reality. And if you go back to your question about bank stocks, well, if you've got a steepening yield curve, banks are going to do great. If you've got a flattening yield curve, which you have for the last 3 months, there's a lot of pressure coming. And so I think they're going to be forewarning about disappointments ahead.
Wow, that was a great quote what you said about money. What did you say? All money has to be put somewhere or something like that?
All money that is anywhere must be somewhere.
I like that.
Nice. At GL Indexes, you guys are often tracking liquidity. Speaking of a market that's on fire more recently, liquidity has been great. You mentioned metals. Is that an area where you think you're seeing more liquidity once again, or is that trade kind of over and people are just all into the tech stocks?
Oh, I think no question money is going into the metals. I think the fact is that you look at the relative price performance. As I say, look at the relative price of base metals like copper against precious metals like gold. There's a very clear breakout. We saw that breakout really starting to gain traction from the beginning of the year, and that's more or less been on cue with evidence of a stronger economy. And if you look at how the bond markets have responded, bonds are basically weak. Bonds are selling off. It's normally a case that you see strong commodity markets alongside weak bond markets, and that's exactly on cue. I think the tech thing has been, an interruption. I mean, that's been a speculative mania. I mean, clearly for, sound reasons in places, but the fact is that this is unusual for this stage of the cycle to see tech so strong. What you've got to start to think about is, what is the cycle looking like? And as I said, the liquidity cycle is rolling over. It's not because, things like conventional measures like money supply are slowing down. In fact, money supply conventional metrics are speeding up, but that's telling us that money is going into the real economy, not going into financial markets. A lot of these metrics like M1, M2 are really measures of money in the retail economy.
Yeah, it's always interesting to hear different perspectives, and I think that's one that's spot on with the copper versus silver versus gold dynamic, where you have a clear disconnect there in the bonds and notes as well. High probability, if you look at the CME FedWatch tool, which is what we check out all the time in terms of just implied interest rates for the U.S. markets here, and the probabilities are staggering that we'll get at least a 25 basis point hike this year, which, to your point, should be good for these banks. And the banks have really quietly led the S&Ps higher. If we looked at all of them this morning, J.P. Morgan, Citibank, Bank of America, like all these companies are near highs, or at least, within 5% of highs, and they're all reporting earnings tomorrow morning. So I think it could be really interesting for the broader market and could be kind of a precursor for what's to come here.
Yeah, it's only going to be good for banks if yield curves steepen. If you get a bearish flattening of the curve, banks are going to get crushed. And that's the problem you've got. The question is that the long end of the curve is under pressure. but you're looking at a lot of upward momentum at the short end because effectively inflation is picking up, and that's what the commodity markets are telling us. So I think it's a difficult call for the financials. We're, as I said, we're late cycle. You've got to start looking more defensively. We may be looking at the end game for a lot of these financials right now.
I'm with you on the defensive part. I've tried to make a little moves in there myself, but yeah, no, it's all a good. It's really a good call.
Yeah, E-minis are ticking up here, only down 20. It seems like that's been the name of the game, regardless of the rotation we've seen. We've seen E-minis sell off, catch a bid, and then rally the next couple of days. But to your point, we have been chopping around. We haven't been able to get above the recent highs here in the E-mini futures of 76.94. Is there any sort of catalyst that you're looking for? If you're expecting the E-minis to go from 7,500 to 8,000, what in your mind is the thing that could bring them there?
Well, I think the fact if you get stronger prints on the economy, I think that's going to certainly lift a lot of commodity markets. But you've got to think about these things moving. How the sequence or how the cycle moves. And the very fact is that, as I keep saying, liquidity is leaving financial assets, and the weakness, the general weakness in cryptocurrency, is really a great barometer of that. I mean, you've had the traditional monetary inflation hedges like gold and Bitcoin, etc., having a really, really tough year, and that's not a coincidence. The fact is that, as I keep saying, liquidity is leaving financial assets and it's starting to migrate into real assets. So that's the transition that investors have got to look more towards. And at some stage, that's going to really come through with commodity markets. Commodity markets look very cheap relative to financial assets and certainly relative to prospects for the economy, I would say. I mean, I'm bullish on the economy for sure. Not so bullish on financial markets. But that's not inconsistent.
Interesting.
You said real asset. Is Bitcoin a real asset, or is that a discussion for another time that's going to be way longer?
That's a discussion for another time, but I'd say it's a financial asset.
Hey, that's fair. We'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Michael. Appreciate your time.